everyone, so welcome to the first video in what is going to be a series of videos on intermediate guitar strumming. So this series is going to be for anyone who can already do a few basic strumming patterns on the guitar, but they're looking to take their strumming to the next level. So we're going to learn a few different strumming patterns in this series, and we're also going to talk about a few little sort of tips and tricks you can use to make learning strumming patterns easier, and also how to just make the tone of your strumming a lot better as well. So we're going to start off by learning the strumming pattern that you heard me playing at the beginning of the video, and then afterwards I'm going to give you a few tips on just strumming in general. So the reason I've picked this strumming pattern for the first video is it's a little bit of a step above some of the beginner kind of strumming patterns you're going to be learning, but what makes it a little bit more difficult is we're not just strumming straight down, up, okay? There's going to be a double down strum within this strumming pattern. So I'll play the pattern slowly for you, and it's going to be a repeated group of 3 strums, okay? So we're in 6/8 time for this. So we're going to be going down, up, down is going to be our group of 3, and we're just repeating that over and over. But what it means is, obviously, we're ending our group of 3 on a down, and we're going to start the next one on a down strum too. So the pattern goes like this: down, up, down, 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 down, up, down. So if we play that pattern with a chord now, I'm just going to use a G modal chord, which is just a normal G chord with the first finger taken off, and our second finger is then muting the A string. So we're going to get this kind of G5 or G modal chord. So playing the pattern on the chord, we're going to go down, up, down, 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 down, up. Okay, so that pattern maybe sounds a little bit odd when it's out of context because it's that slow, okay? So if I start off by playing it slow and then speed up, you'll see it quickly becomes quite easy to follow along. So if we start off slow, we're going to go like this. I'm going to speed up. Okay, so let's try that together now. We're going to start off slow. We're just going to stay on our G chord, and we're going to slowly increase the speed till we're at a similar speed to what I was playing in the beginning of the video. Okay, so even though we're in 6/8, we're going to go after 4 just to make it easier for ourselves, okay? So here we go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay guys, so if you've got that pattern down, here's a few tips to make it easier for you if you're finding it a bit difficult, or if you notice that my tone of my strumming changed ever so slightly when we got up to a higher speed. I'm going to talk about why that is now. Okay, so you may have noticed when I was running the strumming pattern slowly, I was just focusing on doing the bottom couple of strings on my down strums, and I'm only really strumming the top 3 or 4 strings on my up strum. So that can be a useful way of getting a strumming pattern down. So if you want to practice a certain strumming pattern, but you're finding it difficult because you're trying to strum all 6 strings at once, just remember you can actually practice the rhythm for your strumming pattern even on just 1 string. So if we want to do the same thing, we can do our... So we're perfectly fine to practice just getting the rhythm in our heads on 1 string, and Remember, it will make it more difficult if you try and strum all 6 strings at once when you're trying to learn a pattern. It can get very messy very quickly. Now, when the tone of my strumming changed when we got to a certain speed, that's because when we play these patterns at a higher speed, this is something that's going to increase the tone of your strumming in a big way if you focus on doing this. You really want to focus on strumming with, it sort of depends on the chords, but for our G chord, because we've got this kind of high inverted pedal sound from holding, our fingers in the same place, even if we move, through chords. I'm really just focusing on strumming the top 3 or 4 strings for the majority of the strums, and then only on emphasized beats am I doing a full 6 string strum. So if I play the pattern again, you'll notice that I'm really just strumming these top 3 strings. So I'm going, and then on a chord change, I'll do a full strum. So we will talk a little bit more about that in future lessons, but if you want a really quick way of making your strumming sound better in general, just remember that you don't need to strum all 6 strings all the time. So by just focusing on a few, either your top 3, some people focus on the bottom 3 when they strum a lot as well. There's no really wrong answer with this, but if you just continue to try and strum all 6 strings on every strum, you're going to find a lot of strumming patterns way more difficult. And also, you're going to kind of give yourself a barrier to breaking through and giving yourself a really nice strumming tone. So if you're interested in learning more strumming patterns like the one we just learned and more chords and things like that, you can check out my Patreon, which is linked in the description below. But thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next lesson.